Hi, today I'm going to show you how to install TachyonESP, that Tachyon version of ESP32 Forth for the RISC-V processor on the Super Mini, the ESP32. As you can see here, these little modules here, you might even have dev modules, but these are very cheap. ESP32-C3, and that's a RISC-V version. So we're going to plug that into a little adapter. I'll get that back again. Here we go. Plug that into a little adapter, which I'm plugging into my USB-A from USB-C to USB-A. Saves having to have a cable. So I've just got it like this. I'm going to plug it in. I'm recording the whole screen. I've got D-message up on my Linux screen here. We can see it being plugged in up on the mini PC up here. And there it is. It comes up as an ACM0 device. That's totally blank. This one is, I believe. So let's just check it by exiting there and going back to... You can use these scripts, by the way, if you see me type them in. TTY was simply opening up Minicom with all the correct settings on that device, ACM0. Yep, totally blank. What we can do for these tests, just do an Control-A, P. This will close the port, leave it, well, not close the port yet, close the port. So really, we can open up Arduino, and if you don't see me, that's fine, because now we want to get the screen mostly up here. So here we go. Here's the Arduino up on that screen, of course. Bring it across onto here. And here's Arduino here at the moment. We happen to have TachyonESP loaded up into Arduino. Notice that I've got it set up for one of the C3 models. It doesn't really matter. I can select another board or port. Here I'll put in C3, for instance, and we notice we have a few different C3 dev modules, etc. here. In this case, the Super Mini, they're all the same, so for this purpose. Also too, just notice as well that under libraries, wherever this is, we have a library manager. Anything to do with ESP32, very important, this one here, is that, try that C3, I don't know if that comes up at all. Here we go. That's a library manager. I think I have to get the board manager. That's what I need to look at. Board manager. Here we go. Board manager ESP32. 32. And in fact, this is the one that I have got installed here. Now, notice it's a 2.0.17 installed up there. So this is important, as the version 3 is just totally incompatible. Might be resolved in the future, but don't update to that one. It will always want to get you to update to that. Okay, so let's leave this one up here at the moment. I'll put it over here, and you can see, then I'll bring it up full screen. I'll just assemble this one, do a sketch, which will, tool settings should be, I always enable CDC, that's the communications port, and there's my cat coming in now. And here we go. We can erase all flash, especially on a unit that you may have loaded up with something else, but that'll put extra delays in there, so it's disabled. Everything else just stock standard settings. And of course the, what have we got, the partition scheme, well, we're using just 2 megabyte stock standard SPIFs, okay? So Control U, we'll do a Control U, shall we? Here we go, Control U, and hopefully this will work. If I get it all set up right. Yeah, well, that's okay. All going down. Very good. This is exactly what you should see. And that's the whole reason for this video. So this is how it should work, and little things to look out for with a brand new fresh unit. Now, once it says that, well, we can get rid of this, or we can just minimize it. Come back to here. Now we can get the port back. Oh, SPIFs mount failed. That's normal because it's doing the old format, I think. It must be doing that. So let's just check that now. I'm going to give it a few seconds. I've noticed it takes a little while sometimes. I might just hit the reset otherwise. I've got this board back to front. I'll pull it out. Makes it easier for me to get the reset button. I'll pull the board out, put it back in again. Oops. USB-C can go in either way, of course. So I like to have it facing me. Alright, so put it back in. wow, there we go. We've got a prompt down there in Forth and everything running. Okay. Now at the moment, it's just the kernel with all the modifications I put in there. What we want to do now is put the extensions into it. So let's get the extensions. I'll squeeze this up a little bit, see if we can do that. See if it's going to be willing. Don't really need to see me up here, but here we go. And here, over here we have Tachyon ESP directory. I've opened up Visual Studio Code. I've changed the directory to from Arduino down to TachyonESP. So now I'm sitting in that directory, and what I can do is send the extend file. Extend file's this one here. Basically, what it does is it puts in a few lines first to enable batch loading mode, and then goes into batch loading mode with the ESP32 keyword, and that way it'll go very fast. I can use minimal delay, and it'll just spit out any errors and how many lines it processed or how many bytes when it gets to the end, in which case I tell it to remember everything there, the setting, etc., and change the startup as well to extend. So let's try that out. Let's load that in. Let's see how that works. We just do a /send because it's not in the path. It's in this current path now. And extend. We don't need the extension. The device it's going to, OCM 0. And let's just put in a 5 millisecond delay. It'll go faster than that, but let's see it on the right hand side what happens. Okay, fingers crossed. Right, here we go, fingers crossed. Going in, extended, all done. Now just get myself out of the way now. I should have left that over there. And here we go. I do a Control L on the keyboard. Yes, Control W. There it goes. Words this time, which we did before, and it's all coloured now and has all the extra functions in there. Has a lot of history stuff, etc. in there that we can go through and modify words, etc. Or, for instance, we might even just do something like, well, I'm just thinking we might load in the scope program. That's what we're going to do first. There's a lot of really neat functions in here. Actually, I'll show you that first before we do the scope program. We have compile mode, compile, and then execute mode. Anything between these brackets like that, will be compiled, and at the end brackets it will be executed, and it'll be at runtime speeds. So what can you do with that? Well, you can do a 1, 2, 3, 4 lap. How long does this take? And compile it and let it run. 437 nanoseconds. Ooh, that sounds, no, that's better. So not quite sure. I think it was a lap timing initial setup. All right, I'll keep an eye on that. What happens? We do something similar now, and we'll do lap 1, 2, 3, 4. Duplicate that, add it, and drop it, and then have a little look at that. And 437 nanoseconds, etc. 500 nanoseconds. That's because of the granularity of the counter, which is the timer I'm using, which is running at 16 megahertz. Really want something running much faster. We'll see about that. Okay, so that's a nice neat little feature. There's lots of nice neat little features. You can see I can go back through here, change that, and get 1, 2, 3, 4, and duplicate that and multiply it this time to see if it's any different. And it's in Control X just to repeat the last, and you will see it's between 312 and 375 nanoseconds, so it's in that area there. And now what we're going to do, and, like I said, there's lots of features on here, so I tend to forget what they are, but I'm just going to show you that little scope app, how we load it in. Okay, so over here we saw before we can send a file, so we're going to send another file, and it's called scope. Scope, by the way, is up here. Scope has also got that batch loading up the top in there, and a few other things, etc. in there. So what I'm going to do with the scope program is tell it to load in. We don't need to copy and paste. We don't have to have any slow loading. All we need to do is simply just tell it to go to that device, and here's a line delay, which I could probably hardwire into the script. But here we go. No such file in directory. Well, that's great, because what am I doing? I forgot to say send while I'm busy talking. And this is all, I'm not going to edit this. here we go. I want you to see every little thing, every little mistake I make, any little oops as well. So there we are, it's all loaded in there, and 3K bytes in 82 lines. Now, to invoke scope, well, let's just have a look. Control W will show us too many words at the moment, but scope's in there, all those check button words, etc., they're all in there. To invoke it, I'll start it up, and I'll go, what's it got? Well, there's nothing actually hooked up to the input at the moment. I'm going to go and get a little, I'll get my little, get my camera back up here, and so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something like this, where I'll get A0, which is up in that top corner there, left-hand corner, or whatever corner it is, you can see from here. I'll just put a little lead on there, a resistor in fact. I'm going to do the same to this other one. I'll take this resistor off just because, even though I've got a bunch of them up there, I will go through, and this module was already running before. I didn't want to use that for this demo, so I'm just going to go through and hook up this little resistor on here, and you'll probably see lots of noise coming through. I'm just going to squeeze it on there and twist it a little bit. Okay, we're now making contact, and it's picking up a bit more noise. And let's go put on automatic auto set, and it's going as fast as it can at the moment until I speed up the scope application for capturing. But it's taking about, well, what is it, about 58 microseconds minimum. Right? Do it 100 microseconds, 100 with a little U on the keyboard, or the asterisk. Now, if we go, yep, that's going through. I can change the trigger there. It's at plus 50%. I'm going to change the hold time to 200. 200 equals. There's hold time. Make it much faster. 50 equals. We can see the number going in the hold time. It tends to synchronize a bit better. I'll change that trigger from a plus to a minus. I hit the minus key, and there it is on a minus, etc. I'm going to change the time base now to 150 microseconds. And that's actually 150 microseconds calibrated. The 0 is really around about 58 microseconds. So it's not real happy with that one, but I put it on a plus and it's a bit happier there. Put my hand near it. What do I get? Whoa, it's going over. I'm going to get a signal generator, and I'll put a signal generator on here. I'm going to try this out. Here we go. Over here. And it should be outputting a nice, neat little 150 Hertz wave. Alright, here we go. Hopefully that's it. Sine wave running right there. Okay. Now, obviously, we have some ground. I don't know whether that's changed the code or whatever's changed on here, but anyway, I've just got it hooked onto the USB socket as a ground. Maybe that's not the best, but we can see here 200 microseconds, etc. I can pause it with a space bar, run it again. I can put in different modes, change the triggers, but this is just to show you a quick little app, for instance. Now I can get out of that with an escape and back to where I was with this, and that controller L also works out the screen size. So if I shrink that screen, if I go control shift minus, or control minus I should say, shrink that screen, but yet still tile it back into that corner there, so everything's a lot smaller, it will know it's that wide. And the scope will also, I'll be resetting all my specs here, but the scope is also set to a high resolution as well, as you can see. That's just how to get it going. So any problems, let me know. I might have to redo this video, but I just wanted to show you warts and all what I'm doing to get a board going. Okay, thanks.